Cracky. Cracky.
Hello everybody and welcome into Tuesday Night Thunder Season 3, and it is the round of 9. We got a good one tonight. We're going to have 5 drivers going home. Next week we'll be moving on to the round of 4, but we got a lot of action to cover here tonight. Before we get things kicked off, as always, joining me in the booth, Dawson Wise. Dawson, a little bit of an interesting story here tonight. It was supposed to be the round of 8. Instead, we get that one extra driver in the form of Jason Maines. Got a lot of guys that are going to be racing very aggressive tonight. How you doing?
Oh, absolutely. I'm doing great, and you're right, especially adding a guy like Jason. He knows how to get the job done. What a new variable that provides to the 8 playoff drivers that thought that Jason was eliminated a few weeks ago.
Yeah, definitely going to add some controversy here tonight for sure, no matter how it plays out. But let's get right into your starting grid here on the night. Taking the pole, it is going to be Kevin Freese. He puts down a 54.106. Good lap to start us off. Steve Karosek, he will start on the outside in second. Garrett Maines back in third, the first playoff driver in the field here tonight. Andrew Navarro to his outside in fourth. It's going to be Garrett Maines back in fifth with Cody Nagels to his outside in sixth. Logan York back in seventh. Kenneth McCullough Jr. back in eighth. Daniel Everhart ninth. And Matthew Baker rounding out your top 10.
Row 6 will be Matt Lee of MEG Motorsports in the 04 to his outside on their playoff guy, Michael Triscaro, Team PGR in the 34. Row 7, Jeff Merck in the 60, and Mark Von Dell in the 59 for McCullough Motorsports. Row 8 will be John Mullahan in the 2, and Tucker McClendon in the 11. Row 9, a couple of playoff drivers back here towards the back. John Ward in the 92, Dylan Jones in the 21. Row 10, and rounding out the top 20, Mike Davenport and Tony Cox. And rounding out the field tonight, a man who doesn't usually race these kinds of things very often, but he's in the field tonight, the 88 of Gabe Butler.
Yeah, you talked about a wild card with Jason Maines. How about the wild card we get in Gabe Butler tonight? We know how good he is at Superspeedways, and coming into it, Dawson, we're not really sure who he's working with. I'm sure we'll have our answer pretty quick, depending on who he tries to go with. But taking a look at your race info, here's the breakdown tonight. 75 degrees, the weather outside, 40% humidity, partly cloudy skies, and winds at 5 miles an hour. Again, it's the round of 9 here for Season 3 and Tuesday Night Thunder. So these guys are in the Xfinity Series. 60 laps, the distance here tonight. Everybody going to have 40% fuel. That should break us down to probably 2 stops. And yeah, actually just 1 green flag stop. I take that back with that stage break in play. Unlimited tires, 1 fast repair, fixed setups as always. And as I just mentioned, that stage break will come at the end of lap number 20. Track temp starting out 121 degrees around this 2.65 mile Superspeedway. Very hot, going to be a little slick to get this thing started. Dawson, do you think that we're going to see aggression right from the get-go, or do you maybe take it easy here and try to get to that stage break?
I don't know. I think we always say that they're going to take it easy, and they never seem to listen to us. They never seem to take it easy. I imagine they'll be aggressive, especially the playoff guys here at the front. Every point matters tonight. You get points for leading laps. You get 2 points for leading the most laps. The points as close as they are tonight, every single point matters, so I think they're going to go for it right here.
Couldn't agree more. I think we should probably mention that every guy that initially made it to the round of 8 was guaranteed $100, and I believe, and actually we just got a message here. Gabe Butler, due to technical issues, has dropped out, and yeah, you see that. Unfortunate news there as we were getting excited to see what Gabe could do here tonight. Appreciate you letting us know, but round of 8 initially was planning on going home with $100 guaranteed each, but whoever gets 9th now, Dawson, only going to be going home with 50. Some guys not too pleased about it, so we'll see who ends up being in that seat here tonight. But here we go. 60 laps of action. It's the last race before the championship. Into the restart zone we go. Green flag is in the air. Contact early. What in the world just happened there? No caution. Huge debris. Now we got one wrecked out back. Oh my goodness. Caught me and Dawson off guard up here. That is Michael Triscaro. Front end is destroyed. What in the world has happened to the 34 car? Again, we stay green. John Mullihan may be a part of this, but this has messed up the field completely. And just as it was switching wall cams is kind of how this happens, but let's take a look from TV follow. There's Michael Triscaro. Starts to go up, and John Ward maybe tries to go to the middle. That was an odd look. For as experienced as these guys are, that looked a little sloppy right there as Triscaro went up. Not sure if he had some sort of issue. Almost gets in the wall. John Ward sees it, goes to go low, sees Triscaro starting to come back down. I think that causes Ward to make a little bit of an aggressive wheel movement, and he turns straight down into John Mullihan. That hooks Mullihan right back up the track. He gets into the 34, Michael Triscaro. And that's where all that big contact's going to come from there as Mark Vondel runs into him. There's the second hit where he got all the front end damage. And what in the world? Definitely a really odd look right there. Not sure what happened. Dawson, I mean, is that what it looks like to you? I know we got a yellow flag out, so I guess I should hold that thought. Let's go take a look at exactly what happens in this yellow. Looks like Kevin Freese and others were involved. Definitely some drama to stir things up. And, oh, man, what has happened up here? Steve Karosek pushing Kevin Freese, and looks like he gets into his bumper and gets a bit offset left. And that turns Kevin down the hill, gets him into Garrett Maines. So what a start to this race, Dawson.
Oh, I was just watching the replay of the second incident. Garrett Maines, massive hit to the outside wall. He's got big damage on his car. I think he's in the worst spot of any of the playoff guys involved in this. Several others, York, Jason Maines, and obviously a couple of Dale Cup teammates involved in this as well. But, man, this is chaos already. 2 playoff drivers with destroyed race cars. We're not even 3 laps into this race yet.
No, we're not. And like I said, the first one I thought caught me off guard, but the second one almost even more. As there you see that hellacious hit for Garrett Maines up into the catch fence before riding along the safer barrier down the back straightaway. But, you know, the first incident, again, the Xfinity cars, you can't jerk them around quite as much as the trucks. And John Ward trying to react to whatever was going on there with Michael Triscaro. A little bit of maybe an overreaction as he got down into John Mullihan, and then it was on from there. But this second wreck, I was just getting ready to say, Dawson, that, well, this breaks this up. So now if you're that front pack, I think you get organized to start pulling away. Instead, they do the complete opposite here. Steve Karosek not trying to get Kevin turned around. Like I said, it almost looks like he kind of gets stuck inside the bumper of the 25 as he gets to him. And once that happens, he also starts to get just a little bit offset left. And doesn't take much. You get on the left side of these cars, hooks him right around, especially in the corner, and Garrett Maines slides up. Kevin Freese, Steve Karosek, Andrew Navarro with nowhere to go. Baker, I think, is going to split the middle here. At least it looks like he's going to get close to. Well, Logan York, he does make some contact with the 0-2, turns him back down. And you're going to see Daniel Everhart and Logan York make some more hellacious hits right there. So nonetheless, your first yellow, as you noted here, before we even complete the first lap of this race. And man, oh man, it is going to shake some things up for playoff drivers. Again, you do have that one fast spare, so nobody's race should be over from just that one incident, but definitely going to have some big implications as we see John Mullihan towing. He's still waiting to use that fast spare. We know Garrett Maines had to use his. Not sure if Jason did, but Kevin Freesh, you got to suspect that wasn't just an optional fix. And so 4 of 60 laps completed here already. Cody Nagel's being scored as your leader. You see he is one of the playoff drivers as he is highlighted in yellow on your scoring tower. He's got a teammate and another playoff driver just to his outside. That's Matthew Baker in second. Andrew Navarro back in third, Matt Lee fourth, and Steve Karosik in fifth.
What a start. I mean, right to a playoff race, with the implications that we know are going to be happening tonight and the points as close as they are. Garrett Maines came in tonight a point and a half above the cut line, and I know that sounds very odd to the audience, but, with half points, especially and as close as these bonus points were for Garrett and Mike Triscaro. Michael Triscaro, by the way, was 3 points under the cut line. That's certainly not the start he needed, but for Garrett, his advantage, even though it was slim, is now gone. He's racing from behind, and it's not what you want to do in this kind of race, especially against this kind of competition.
Certainly isn't, but one thing I do want to mention before we go too much further is the paint scheme that Cody Nagels has on tonight. Robert Jordan, who Dawson we saw so much over in NSRA, but he did so much for the iRacing community, unfortunately passed away just about a week ago. And Cody Nagels, one of the guys that got to talk and work with Robert Jordan a lot, and showing his support tonight with the RJ Strong Superman paint scheme. And over in Ghost 74, we'll be running in the 24 hours. We got that on there as well. Good to see it. And if Cody could get the win tonight, how much it mean to him?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. He's won a couple of races over the past week, and I got a chance myself on one of my broadcasts to get to commemorate Robert. He was my teammate as well in NSRA over the course of the past 2 seasons. A great teammate, an even better friend, just a great human being to be around, to talk to. You're right, he did a lot for our community. He's going to be dearly missed.
Certainly is. So Matthew Baker is going to get put on the inside here. Cody Nagel chose the top with Steve Karosik, who that third Dale Cup teammate here on the night. Actually, I said Matthew Baker and Cody Nagel's are ex-teammates, but again, going to be teammates this weekend over in the Rolex race. Matt Lee behind that is one of Matthew Baker's teammates. And how about Tony Cox? The run he's putting up here early, already up 14 positions from where he started this race at. The other big mover in the field tonight, John Ward, even after that last wreck, him and Dylan Jones both up 10 positions from where they started this race at. So we'll see what happens. But we do, by the way, tonight have some driver cams. We'll take a look at those in just a moment. But now Dawson, with this caution here, I think it's going to mean that everybody is indeed good to go on fuel. It was going to be really close at 40% if we didn't, but now everybody should be good to go the rest of the way. And believe it or not, I almost think the aggression picks up even more from this point.
I think it does once you get past that green flag pit stop. Now, I will say several drivers from Andrew Navarro on back came down for a second round of pit stops. In fact, make that, I believe, Tucker McClendon on back came down for a second round of stops there, so they are for sure good to go now. Leader's a little bit closer, but I think you're right. Now that we're all good to go to the stage, I imagine it's going to get even more intense than it just was.
I want to appreciate everybody that's, well, I guess I should say I want to thank, and I do appreciate everybody that's tuning out here tonight. Baker's mom says hello. We heard from Gabe earlier, who unfortunately was planning on starting this race, but due to a technical issue, was not able to make the start. And Shirley Cox in here rooting on Tony Cox as well. And here we go. They are getting ready to go back green. I think we're going to hold off on the crank it up, Dawson, because with the added characteristic start we saw last time, who knows what to expect for this one. We'll keep it radio style as we've been just about the whole night and every other night. Here we go. Matthew Baker, Cody Nagels, row 1. Matt Lee, Steve Karosik in row 2. Tony Cox, Ken McCullough Jr. in row 3. Green flag is back in the air. Let's try it again at Talladega.
Hopefully this time we get about more than 4 corners done before they decide to wreck. Looks like everybody's up through the gears okay here into turn number 1 for the first time. Nagels, Karosik, the teammates, hooked up very well, got a great jump. Bottom line's got no help out back. Baker, Lee by themselves. Nagels sees it, jumps down, allows Karosik to lead the top. Onto the super stretch, McCullough, Dylan Jones, and Garrett Maines. After all that, he's used his fast repair. He's going to come right back to it here on the super stretch.
Yeah, interestingly enough, a couple of the guys that used their fast repair there still showing a lot of aggression, don't seem to be too scared to get up here and stay in the mix. Logan York is back up here as well. We see Tony Cox just in front of him, 2x2 though right now in the front. Nagels and Karosik side by side. After that, you got 3 rows deep, and they just continue to try to decide which lane's going to take the lead. I think if Cody gets back clear, he'll jump to the outside, but it might be Karosik who's able to get clear first. Talk about that super hot track temp. I think all that's going to do here tonight, Dawson, is favor that outside line that much more, but even further back, Here's a look now at Jeff Merck and Andrew Navarro. They're starting to work their way through the field. Looks like Jason Maines and then the two PGR boys, Mike Davenport and Michael Triscaro, are going to tag on as well.
Yeah, I don't see Mike Triscaro going anywhere here anytime soon. I think he's going to ride right where he's at in front of Daniel Eberhard. He's going to stay out of trouble here, opposite of Garrett Maines. We see Garrett, he is right back on the horse up here at the front, third in the outside lane, making second in the outside lane as McCullough drops across the bumper of Karosik. And you'll see split strategies here, but I think Triscaro's got the right one with how hard these guys are going to race towards the stage. Yeah, and again, we expected a lot of aggressive racing right here, and Garrett Maines, Dylan Jones, they're linked up, but besides that, they're starting to single file out here just a little bit. Taking a look on board here with Matthew Baker, one of the drivers that we have carrying on board for us here tonight. And again, he is one of your round of 9 drivers. I think we're going to be saying round of 8 a lot tonight because we're not used to seeing something like the round of 9, but Baker, one of those guys adamant on, wasn't too happy about the round of 9, so you know he's going to be working a little extra hard here tonight, maybe with a chip on his shoulder to prove a point that he does belong in the round of 4, and wouldn't be too surprised to see him in there next week. Another one of the drivers that we have carrying on board for us tonight on the opposite end of the spectrum is Michael Triscaro, part of what I guess some people are calling that controversy last week, but at the end of the day, here he is in the round of 9, driver out of Shaker and Falls, Ohio, and he's going to take another jump up here with Mike Davenport. And our last driver that we have with an onboard camera for us here tonight, one of the fan favorites as always, Tony Cox, rocking the Ghost Racing Network paint scheme. He is currently up 10 positions from where he started this race. Currently in that 10th spot as well, sitting just behind Matt Lee, and he's watching everything that's going on in front of him, just trying to take it easy right now. But tell you what, Dawson, I'm not noticing anybody really trying to save fuel. And interesting look up here, they're 3 wide, even though the middle and top only have 2 cars. Yeah, Jeff Merck and Andrew Navarro saw a run and took it when they got there. Now, the problem is with only 2 cars, and especially with that bottom line stacked up as much as it is, just not going to benefit. Both lines, the middle and top, are going to die because of that move. Now they tuck back in smartly, just going to ride behind the middle because how many times already have we seen? I mean, Karosik cycled down, McCullough cycled down, Nagel cycled down, so these guys will be able to cycle forward. I think if they just trust the process and wait a little bit and hold that thought on the PGR boys staying at the back, especially Triscaro. He is making up spots now. He's into the outside line, coming to the front. He's bypassed Logan York, bypassed Jason Maines. Triscaro's on the hunt about halfway through stage 1. Yeah, and as we cross the line this time, it is going to be 11 laps to go here in stage number 1. Again, only stage of the night. Do you think about maybe trying some strategy play here coming to the stage? Maybe pitting a lap or 2 early, trying to get that track position when we come back out? I don't know, but right now, everybody looks like they continue to fight for the front as Ken McCullough Jr. got eliminated last week. We saw him in the round of 16. Unfortunately, did not advance to the round of 8. He leads the inside with Dylan Jones still on his outside, and the 2 lead pushers, Steve Karosik for Dale Cup, Garrett Maines, I believe. Garrett, I'm not sure if he's working with these guys here tonight, but Jeff Merck and Andrew Navarro, unlikely duo, but they've been working strong together so far, and wouldn't be surprised if they're thinking about 3 wide here in just a moment. Yeah, I would not be surprised either. About halfway through stage 1, in terms of strategy, I think if you're a non-playoff guy, maybe you try that. Maybe a guy like Logan York as well that's in the playoffs, that's right at the tail end of the draft. If you're not going to get stage points, which is top 5, I think you may try that, try to flip the track position and get up front. But the guys up front right now, we know what they're going for, and that is stage points. Top 5 profit stage points, and with the points as close as they are, half point separating about 4 cars right now. And like I said, every point is going to matter, and certainly tonight, the stage break going to be even more hotly contested. 3 wide, Jason Maines, Andrew Navarro, a couple others in tow into 3. Andrew Navarro taking a peek. He's going to draw even here with Garrett Maines as they do work their way through 3 and 4. Ooh, Jason, you already see a little bit of damage on the left side of his car. Gets a little more right there as he bangs doors with Jeff Merck. That's going to allow Matthew Baker and Matt Lee to pull up in the middle lane. Davenport and Triscaro to pull up on the outside. Ken McCullough Jr. still looking very comfortable out front. He's going to drop right back down in front of Steve Karosik. 12 laps complete, 9 to go on the stage. What a great first stage this has been so far. Outstanding stuff here at the front of the field. Navarro, Maines, Davenport, Triscaro continue to try to get the 3rd lane to work. But with 5 cars stacked up in the middle, it's going to be very hard to do so. Garrett Maines, an incredible pusher there in the middle behind Dylan Jones. But now they draw even about halfway down the super stretch. They start to make another run. Here come the 44 and the 1. They've got another car up there as well. D3 is joining the party here at the front of the field tonight. He goes right to the 3rd lane. Cavalry coming out the 3rd. Now Eberhard drops out. Bottom's going to profit. Oh, trouble! Almost. Dylan Jones, what a save. Fire out of the pipes for just about the whole field. 4 wide. Looks like they're quickly going to narrow it back down to 3. Navarro and Maines going to hop behind the 21 of Dylan Jones, and
Man, I thought that was a wreck for sure, Dawson. I don't know how they all save it. They do. We keep it green. But, I was just getting ready to mention with kind of what we saw on the start, but maybe what we saw there in general, it's been a couple weeks since these guys have all ran on the track together here in Tuesday Night Thunder. So maybe a couple guys getting kind of reused to the track, to racing, and each other. And so a couple of close calls early after that first big wreck, but everybody saves it, everybody checking up for each other, and as a result, we're going to keep all these cars up here clean, keep the racing going as Garrett Maines will now shuffle to the lead. He's going to drop to the bottom in front of Ken McCullough Jr. Jeff Merck still in the middle, and Dylan Jones up top.
Well, mark that down for Dylan Jones. If he makes the championship four tonight, that might be the moment that saved the season right there. The save right in the front of the field. Nonetheless, he stays on the front row, continues to lead the third lane. Dylan Jones, look out for him after that close call. He's going to go to the lead here at the line, I believe. Merck in the middle, Maines on the bottom, 3x3, 3 rows deep as we head back towards turn number 1.
And you see, it looks like they're going to be coming up on their first lap of the night here relatively shortly, and it's going to come in the form of John Mullihan, one of the McCullough Motorsports drivers. Not the night he wanted to start with, involved in that first accident. Kind of an innocent victim, nothing he could do, but driver out of Cross Lanes, West Virginia, finds himself all by himself on the back straightaway, and he still got heavy damage to the rear end, so I think he tried to fix it, Dawson. Not sure if it was the right call, but as the field goes blowing by him, 3-4 wide for just a moment, he'll try to tuck in line, see if he can hold the draft. The other car that we have maybe in danger going a lap down is going to be Kevin Fries. You see right there at the 25. I wonder if he's still got a little bit of damage. Maybe chose not to use that fast pair, trying to save it until we get to the stage. I can't tell again from this view. Yeah, no, he's still got some damage, at least on the right side. So this could be a tough break for Kevin Fries. If he goes a lap down, he's going to have to hold on for 7 more as we just crossed the line that time. Meanwhile, back up front, 3 wide action is still going strong. Dylan Jones on the outside. Jeff Merck taking another look on the inside. And Dawson, I hate to say it, but man, I feel like whenever you see Jeff Merck come to the front now, it seems like, the bad luck's going to follow. I might think about bailing out of this pack right about now.
Yeah, it seems like the luck seems to follow him everywhere he goes. Now, so far, knock on wood, he's doing all right in the middle. He's picked up his 2 NBG Motorsports teammates as well. And stop me if you've heard that before. NBG lined up in the middle, looking to run to the front. They're at the front all of a sudden. Garrett Maines able to get some air. He's going to lead. Dylan Jones, Andrew Navarro, Jason Maines. It's really interesting. With a hot track tonight, I did not know how long the third lane was going to be able to hang around. They are proving me wrong so far as Jones. That is a massive surge out of the Jones and Navarro machines up top. Jones leads by half a car length. Oh, he tried to clear down. Merck had to bail out. That was really close there in turn 1.
Yeah, and it might work out the best here for Baker. It'll give him just a split second to cool down. Garrett Maines now going to push Jeff Merck. That'll give Ken McCullough Jr. some relief. And fortunate news for Kevin Fries. Yeah, he's not going to be able to hold on. They'll go 4 wide around him. He's going to tuck into the pack. He won't go 2 down. And in fact, it looks to me like he is going to be able to hang on to the draft at least more than John Mullihan was. So he should get the free pass position as he only goes 1 lap down at the stage break. Oh, Maines getting out of shape. Oh, my goodness. Jason Maines, what a close call that was off the front bumper of Cody Nagels. It didn't look like they were making contact, but, man, that car started to step out on him, Dawson, and I don't know how he held on, but, again, another close call and another phenomenal save.
I mean, just you can keep tabs already of the moments that have seasons in the playoffs tonight. I mean, the 2 guys that we've already seen make saves, Dylan Jones, Jason Maines, and, the guys that we've seen get involved in early trouble. So much happening to the playoff drivers. Only 4 to go in stage 1 now. A 9-car breakaway, making an 8-car breakaway here at the front. Jones back up in front of Merck, but here's the problem for Dylan Jones. He's got NBG teammates lined up 3 deep behind him.
Yeah, if they want to make a move, he's going to the back unless Garrett Maines chooses to jump up and pick him up, but tell you what, that close moment there for Jason Maines, that caused a lot of separation, maybe some anxiety for a lot of the guys in this pack right now. Some of them dropped back, some of them got lined up. And so we're back to 2x2 instead of the 3 wide that we had just a couple laps ago. It is going to allow some gaps that were formed to close up, get a couple guys a couple runs. And so watch out here on the outside if Mike Davenport, Daniel Eberhardt, Cody Nagels maybe decide to make a move, try to get that third lane going. But I'll tell you, if you want to go to the front, you got to start thinking about going right now, because next time we cross the line, it'll be 2 laps to go in stage number 1.
Yeah, and so far, a little bit more tame than I figured it would be, at least this late in the stage. Now, that moment with Jason Maines certainly didn't help, but even now, I'm kind of surprised nobody stepped out. Obviously, the NBG Motorsports cars are going to take a look. Dylan Jones is going to have to be aware of that. I think if he gets clear of Garrett Maines again, you might just want to go down. Garrett's going to have to push you at that point. You don't risk getting hung out and losing out on stage points. I think it's your best bet. But now, Dylan Jones.
No way they hold on to it again. Oh, my goodness, they did. We go. How do they keep doing it? They all hold on yet again. This will cause even more separation as we stay green. 2 laps to go in stage 1, but man, Dylan Jones is continuing to add to the highlight reel tonight. Maybe not in the way he wants, but look at this save. I mean, he might be more than 90 degrees sideways here, and he holds on. Take a ride on the cockpit view. Oh my goodness, he gets a little bump there from Michael Triscaro. They get locked together. Yeah, Daniel Eberhard shooting down towards the inside wall. I mean, how do they all hold on to it, Dawson?
I don't know. He's going to lose out on stage points, but again, mark it down as a moment that might save Dylan Jones' season. I have no idea how he made that happen, and man, we are all kinds of wild up front. Dylan actually may be glad he's not in this here at the front. They're all over the place up here.
Yeah, all over the place, and coming to 1 lap to go in the stage, and there you see it. The bright yellow numbers on the left side of your screen on the scoring tower, those are the guys that need stage points. Ironically enough, 2 of them are teammates. Garrett Main's the odd one out, but he's getting a push on the bottom here from Ken McCullough Jr. as Baker gets another surge up top. They might be coming up on 1 more lap car, depending on which lane that lapper's in. One of these lanes will pull a little drive. Ooh, Baker. Man, he got a little wiggly right there off the turn. These cars not pushing that well tonight, Dawson. I got to think it's the track temp, but here we go. Baker's going to drop to the bottom. That'll put the 2 teammates 1-2. Can they finish it that way?
You know, Matt Lee's probably not going anywhere. D3 does. He takes Navarro with him. Maines washes up. Some contact further back behind the leaders. All kinds of scramble here off 4. Headed back towards the tribal. Everybody's loose. Over goes Garrett Maines.
Garrett Maines is going to hard into the inside. Excuse me, heats that inside wall really hard. Oh, up front, they're wrecking more. Oh, Cody into Daniel. They're all, oh my goodness, what a mess. The stage ends. And probably just about the worst way it could. I mean, what in the world have we got going on here tonight, Dawson?
I have no idea. I was trying to catch all that as it happened. D3 actually makes a bonsai move through the middle. It works for him. He squeezes through the gap as these guys all got out of shape and Garrett Maines got sideways. D3 makes contact with Baker. He goes through the grass. He's door banging with Cody Nagels. This is exactly what I figured would happen at the end of the stage. Oh, no, it's Dale Cup on Dale Cup violence. It's Nagels with some contact from his teammate from behind. Sends him down into Eberhard. Matt Lee gets into his teammate Baker. And Navarro and Triscaro come through to get stage points right there.
Well, let's go back and break all this down. Let's start first with the Garrett Maines incident because this is most likely going to be a night ender for Garrett Maines. We'll take a look from TV follow here and just looks like maybe Matt Lee coming down ever so slightly here. I think we got to take a look from the chopper cam. As here you go, watched as well. Boy, it's close, but yeah, it looks to me like Matt Lee is coming down the track right there. Yeah, Garrett. Yeah, no, Garrett doesn't really move. I mean, he's got his right sides on the white line, kind of established there, stays there, but as Lee's coming down, maybe a slight bit of netco, but there's definitely some contact there, and then Lee comes down a second time there, maybe trying to catch it, not sure, but that's the one that really cleans Garrett out. He had it saved up to that point, and then I take it back. What a save from Garrett. I didn't see this initially, but, I mean, he barely backs it into the outside wall at the end, but Dawson, look what he does. He's heading straight for the inside wall. I mean, this is going to be a brutal hit. He locks it down, waits for the car to kind of rotate backwards, and then he's going to let it roll. Watch this. He puts it in reverse. Interestingly enough, boy, I'll tell you, he's a coke driver, and that's a pro move to see right there. Don't see that too often, but that was a phenomenal piece of driving by Garrett Maines to save himself a fast spare. Then let's take a look at this incident involving your leaders here. As you said, it was Dale Cup on Dale Cup. Show the viewers at home just what it looked like here from TV follow. As they get into the trial right here, things get tight. There's the move from Eberhard. It's a good move, and then looks to me right there like Nagels starts coming down the track. Maybe trying to get a side draft on Eberhard. I'm not too sure unless there was something we missed before this. And gets into the door, and then that sends Eberhard down into Matthew Baker. Eberhard and Nagels get collected, and then Nagels with a little bump from behind from Carosa gets him into Daniel Eberhard. Eventually, they all finally spin out. They all get damage. And so you kind of got to ask yourself at a certain point, Dawson, I mean, how was it really worth it for stage points?
I don't know. I mean, it's what we knew they were going to do, right? I mean, we talked about it the entire first stage, and we knew it was going to get crazy because the guys that have the yellow numbers on that scoring tower, we said it, they needed those points. I mean, especially if you're below the line, you're a guy like Michael Triscaro, you needed points right there, and you found a way to go get them. And man, I did not expect a wreck for the stage, but we got it, and hey, that's some chaos early on in this one.
Certainly did. I want to go back and take a look at that finish one more time. As Andrew Navarro, yeah, he is going to be your stage winner now. Again, Andrew Navarro is in the playoffs, so that's a big deal for him, and he probably wasn't expecting to be getting those points, and then right there, I think Michael Triscaro sneaks through to maybe get second. Let's take one more slow-mo view of that. Navarro, I think it's going to go Baker, maybe Eberhardt, Triscaro, something similar to that order, but at the end of the day, Navarro is your stage one winner. And up front here as we get ready to go back green, it's Jason Maines with the lead. Mike Davenport in second, Daniel Eberhardt in third. And actually, scoring right now is showing Eberhardt not in third. He's being scored a lap down. And I forgot some of these guys with the damage they got maybe had to tow. So we're going to let the scoring all get settled out here. But what I want to do before we take it, normally we take a break right now, Dawson, but with as much drama as we've had on track, I want to see if we could find one of these guys to maybe get a quick word with here. And taking a look around, let's go see if I can't get a word here with Matthew Baker real quick. All right, and I think we pulled him in here for just a quick word. Hey, Matthew Baker, this is Austin the booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha.
Boy, we saw some calamity, and this has been an odd race up to this point, but especially coming to the end of the stage, I mean, can you kind of break down what kind of happened there?
I don't know. It just was calamity on that last lap. We were controlling and trying to just get a couple more points there, and whenever we came out of 4, I don't know, it just looks like Eberhardt got pushed down, and then he got pushed down again, and we were just all in on the crossfire of it. It was awful.
We've got to come from the back here with still over halfway through this race to go. What's going to be the strategy?
Just keep my nose clean. It's just a lot of people hooking each other. It's awful. Hopefully we can clean it up here for the last half of this race and get this one to go, and try and get to the end of this race.
All right, appreciate you giving us a quick word. Good luck the rest of the way. All right, there you go. That was your feedback there from Matthew Baker, and it sounds like, tell you what, from kind of racing with this guy quite a bit, I don't think he's too pleased with what he's seen tonight, and not necessarily that he's been affected directly by all of them, certainly by that last incident, but just saying, I mean, Dawson, we've already seen it tonight. A couple of these incidents here kind of maybe need to get cleaned up. Not sure if it's the track temp or if it's just, again, the 2-week break, but a lot of aggression out here tonight. Certainly not much give and a whole lot of take.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. And tonight certainly has been probably the worst example of that. You get guys that we said needed points, and tonight they're going for it. And I'll tell you what, I'm sorry to kind of go off here, but the scoring is all kinds of weird. I don't know if you're seeing this as well. We got a bunch of guys stuck at least a lap down. I'm talking guys we just saw at the front. Daniel Eberhardt on my end has scored more than one lap down. Same with Michael Triscaro. I don't know if that's the same for you. The guys we just saw, we're just talking about, that were involved in that incident are caught multiple laps down here, at least on my end. I don't know if that's the same for you anyway.
Yeah, I mean, my scoring's showing the same thing here. It looks like it starts with Ken McCullough Jr., Kevin Freese, Karosik, Eberhardt, Maines, Triscaro, and guess nothing's getting fixed, so that must have just been the way things played out with that last lap wreck. All right, here we go. Couple new guys up front. Mike Davenport up here, Mark Vondell, Jeff Merck on the outside. Green flag is back in the air. 27 laps to go at Talladega.
Well, I mean, this presents an obvious problem for those two playoff cars, Jason Maines and Michael Triscaro, is they're going to have to find a way now back on the lead lap. I don't know if they're going to have the time to be able to do so, but regardless, up front, guy's going to try to take advantage. Jeff Merck to the outside. He goes to the lead. Logan York shot out of a cannon. He's all of a sudden going to lead the outside onto the super stretch. He's got help from Garrett Maines behind him. Put the 0-2 out front for the first time.
And just realized I said 27. Meant to say 37, but it's actually 36 laps to go. And up front, Jeff Merck on the bottom. Logan York up top. Garrett Maines pushing. John Mullahan back there with Matt Lee. Those two, a couple old teammates, maybe think about 3 wide. Doesn't look like it. They're going to stay tucked up to your 2 leaders. And remember, Garrett Maines right now, his race would be over if he didn't have that phenomenal save on the last lap of the stage break. So he finds himself second on the outside. Merck still trying to get that push from Mike Davenport. Nothing there yet. And now we're going to see our first 3 wide move further back. Jason Maines, and we're kind of getting 2 races in one right here, Dawson, because there's so many of the big hitters a lap down, and they all need to get back on that lead lap. They're going to split Logan York 4 wide here. Hold your breath. No issues there, but you're going to see a lot of aggressive racing here from everybody, including the guys a lap down.
Well, they need to go get their lap back, and the easiest way to do that is, ironically, the hard way. Go up there and pass the leaders. That's what Jason Maines wants to do, at least right now, up on the outside. No sign of that same move from Michael Triscaro yet. Mullihan ducks out from behind Garrett Maines, and all of a sudden, the racing we just saw at the end of Stage 1, it's back here in Stage 2. Not even halfway home, and these guys are all over the racetrack, 3x3, multiple rows deep. Tucker McClendon says, I want in that as well. Well, maybe even the opposite. I think he's actually bailing out, and that might be the smart play. These guys are all kinds of crazy up here right now. Jason Maines for now going to poke his nose out. He's back on the lead lap, headed towards one, but now they start to fade.
Garrett Maines, Dylan Jones, speaking of doing it the hard way, I'll tell you what, that's a good way to get some friends, because, if you're Jason Maines to Dylan Jones, you're saying to Dylan, hey, Dylan, I'm going to go up here. Well, not Dylan in this case, but let me use somebody else as an example. You get two cars that are both a lap down, and one of them goes to the front, gets that lap back the hard way. The guy that's pushing him, he's probably going to get the free pass. And speaking of push, man, what a push that Dylan Jones gave Jason Maines right there. Both cars started fishtailing, not quite enough to get clear, though. You got to wonder if that damage, just a little bit that Jason Maines has on the left side of that car, is hindering him just enough in clean air that maybe they don't quite have the speed they need to on that outside line. But Garrett and Matt Lee still holding strong in the middle. John Mullihan, Jeff Merck strong on the bottom. Further back, you see Kevin Freese. He's worked his way back into the mix, but he's one of the guys that, surprisingly enough, who fell a lap down at one point. No longer the case. He's back on the lead lap, and I think he's taking it easy right now. He sees these guys going 3 wide, and again, Dawson, we still have a pit stop to go through. So, I think I like the idea with as crazy as this race has been, taking it easy, but that is not the case up front right now. 3 wide as they go down the Alabama gang backstretch.
Yeah, absolutely, and Logan York doing the same. We saw him bail out. John Ward doing the same as well. Matthew Baker is tailed at the end of this field, so several on playoff field as well, thinking the same thing. The stage points are done and over with, and the guys that got them, got them. Now all you can do is try to position yourself for the end of the race. The points will still be close, even with that little bit of separation. Now, I will say, Andrew Navarro, he's in a great spot right now. He's got about a 9-point cushion on the cut line, so he's in the best spot of anybody. Everybody else, though, so close together, you don't have to race right now. You can wait, position yourself, try to win, try to finish top 5, and that should be plenty to get you in. And the guys up front, they're not about that mindset. They want to go race, and they want to go race now. Jason Maines, well, he wanted a heroic run to the front to get the lap back the hard way. He's completed it. Now he leads the field here off turn 2.
I was just thinking about the fact that I said, again, 1 pit stop, but boy, it's actually going to be pretty close on if these guys can make it on 1 stop. As aggressive as they're racing, you got to think that it's either a solid 1 stop or a solid 2 stop, not really in between. Otherwise, I think you'd see guys lining up trying to save fuel. And right now, it's Jason Maines who gets another surge as he was finally able to get to the bottom. John Mullihan, Jeff Merck just trying to push, but seeing a lot of these cars, Dawson, start to fade out of this group, stay 2x2 or single file. We started this race with 20 cars. We still got 20 running. The problem is all those guys that are still a lap down, and if we don't get a caution at any point here, this is really going to stir some things up. You got to wonder if that's part of the reason some of them are getting up there and trying to get aggressive, maybe hoping to entice these guys to race a little harder, maybe end up in a caution. But right now, the 3-wide action looks nice and smooth, looks clean. And Dylan Jones, Andrew Navarro locked up on the outside with Mike Davenport. We'll see if it's enough to get clear. Oh, Jason Maines saves it. I think he does. Again, a close call as he comes back up. He's going to slide in line just behind Matthew Baker. And Jason Maines, that is his second big save of the night. That'll tie him now with Dylan Jones. I mean, what in the world, Dawson? These guys seem to just keep having these little minute issues, but we keep seeing these big superstar saves as Jason Maines had there.
That's the most aggressive pushing I've for sure seen all season has been in tonight's race, and these guys are just on a whole different level of aggression, and I just really don't understand it. With 30 laps to go, you still got half the race to go, and it's got to be some kind of record for these superstar saves. I don't think we've seen this many in a single race, but man, already 4 or 5 big moments tonight, and I guarantee with half the race left, it will not be the last. Maines Jones continue to lead. Cody Nagels has found his way to the front. He brings along with him a teammate that needs a lap back, Steve Karosik, third on the outside line.
Well, kind of ironic that Jason lost all that track position, almost got wrecked, and he's the first guy back on the horse saying, let's go back to the front behind Ken McCullough Jr. now. And that 0-3-1, they're going to start getting moving here. Mike Davenport, no run as he's stuck in the middle. We'll see if he maybe is able to jump behind these guys. John Ward in the mix as well. Looks like he's going to jump up to the 3rd lane all the way at the back though right now. It's Logan York, Tony Cox, a couple others, Kevin Freese, Daniel Eberhard. They're just taking it easy. Tucker McClendon back there as well, and up front, here we go. Cody Nichols, he's going to drop to the bottom of the Superman scheme. Robert Jordan back out in front. Garrett Maines pushing. Dylan Jones third. Steve Karosik, first chance he's going to have it, looking for some clean air tonight. Garrett, making a mistake. He was not clear when he jumped up. Steve Karosik almost hooked him into the outside wall, and tack on yet another one, Dawson.
That's probably his, and I think Dylan's, where he was over 90 degrees sideways, were the ones that left me speechless tonight. And that's one, by no means should we still be green right now. That should have been a big wreck. Garrett and Steve able to keep it going, and no harm, no foul. Somehow a mistake by Maines cost Karosik big time. He's now at the tail end. Maines continues to lead the way at the line, but like you said, tack it on. Another huge moment, and again, not the last.
And that's a rare mistake by Deborah Garrett. I mean, Dawson, we saw it. He was really nowhere near clear. I mean, Steve was already up to just about his whole quarter panel when he jumps out there. So, good save, though. So, I guess no harm, no foul if you're Garrett. But if you're Steve Karosik, you're certainly not going to give any favors to that one car later. And if he gets back up there, it may not be so nice next time if the one's laid on a block. But further back, Baker on the bottom, jumping out of line just for a moment. Navarro on the outside. Cody Nagel still on the inside. Dylan Jones back in second, Matt Lee there, and here comes Steve Karosik jumping back to the outside. I think he wants something to prove here, Dawson. One of those things, Steve, he's kind of a calm, cool, collected guy, but you'll know when he's feeling the aggression. And right now, I think he's kind of a little bit, maybe say heated, we'll use that word, and I think he is trying to get back to the front here to maybe show that one car how he felt about it.
Yeah, not a guy that you'll hear talk a lot when he gets heated, but a guy that you will see, he'll know when he's heated by what he's doing on the racetrack, and I think you're exactly right. You hit it on the head. He wants to go back to the front. He wants to get in front of Garrett Maines right here, I think, just to prove a point. Say, oh, well, you can do that to me, but I'm going to come right back up here, jump right back in front of you, and make you push me, I think is what he wants to do. Now, he doesn't have any help. He's going to need some, and now that we're back to 2x2, he's probably not going to get any here for a moment. Tell you what, the more laps we run like this, Maines and Nagel still side by side here in 3 and 4, and the pushing that's going on. Look at Navarro. Look at how hard he's pushing Garrett Maines right now. The strategy for Logan York looking more and more successful as the laps tick on, and we have more of these big moments.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I was going to say, I know we see that the Moon Car guys have where they can hear each other's radio. I kind of wish we had something like that, Dawson, because the radios have to be on fire here tonight. I mean, I don't think too many of these guys are happy with each other, but they still got to work with each other for the next 26 laps, 25 when we cross the line next time. Cody Nagel's on the bottom, Garrett Maines up top, and 2x2 right now for about 6 rows deep. After that, all single file action, all guys taking it nice and easy. A lot of people have already had to use their fast pair, and as we go back, Michael Triscaro not with the pack right now. He is the only car by himself, and one of the guys that is unfortunately not on the lead lap right now, as is most of the field. Triscaro going to be in danger of losing another one here. In fact, looks like Mullahan is one of the guys that's 2 laps down as he sits up here with this pack. And so as the racing continues on, 25 laps to go, we are going to take a quick break. We'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us at Talladega. Front, now we're going to see a little 4-wide action.
Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets in the lead on the record.
3x3 entering
4. 3-2. At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning at Talladega. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway for the round of 9 race. As you see pit stops underway and some trouble for Michael Triscaro. We just saw the stops and looked to me like the 39 got in okay, but then after the fact, what in the world happened here? And he didn't even get it corrected. He just immediately towed. Let's go take a look here on board with the 34 Michael Triscaro as he's coming in here. Oh, ooh, yikes. Get some contact there as you maybe had somebody coming out, somebody coming in at the same time, kind of set up. Go to the TV follow. Is it going to be... Watch Michael Triscaro. He's trying to come in. Eberhardt on the left side, and yeah, yikes. That's some contact. And then I'm surprised that Triscaro didn't try to whip it around, though. Instead, looks like to me he just decides to tow. So tough break again there for Michael Triscaro. But as we go back live, he's still sitting on the pits. And up front, I think we saw our final round of pit stops here for the guys that have not pit yet. Steve Karosik, Jason Maines, and Andrew Navarro. And right now, Navarro's being scored as your leader. It's not going to last too long here as all these guys make their way back out. But Dawson, we talked about it over break. That's not the last pit stop. I think they're going to have to make one more. I think the only guys that maybe would have a chance are the ones that pit right there. And in this case, you would think it'd have to be Navarro since he's, of course, on the lead lap. But to do that, he's going to have to drop back and save. I mean, he'd still have to save a ton. I just don't think you can make it happen.
It's going to be 2 stops, and I'll tell you what, the biggest blow from that, and he did have to sit and serve the penalty. Garrett Maines caught speeding on pit road on entry. You could not see it, I don't think, but he was very hot on entry. Gets a penalty. Oh, Navarro gets turned to the outside wall. He's sideways. The leaders have to dive out of the way. Karosik got in the back of him, and now does Navarro have any damage from that? He's in the outside wall. It's broken up the field in a huge way.
Another phenomenal save as they're bobbing and weaving to get around. And again, you just scratch your head at what in the world is going on here tonight. Must be a full moon or something, but here we go. Take a look from the chopper view here. Steve is just trying to help Andrew out here. And let's see, it looks like it's a double push. That's what happened. So just as Steve's getting to Andrew, you see he gets him squared up right here, but then Jason bumps him just before he gets there. That sends Steve ever so slightly to the left side of Navarro's bumper. Gets him offset, and that's what sends Navarro into the outside wall. But again, a nice save, and looks like Steve Karosik's making sure here to be a good guy about it and help Andrew out. Feels bad about the way that kind of worked out. Certainly wasn't his plan, so he's going to make sure that him and Navarro both stay with the pack. Good veteran move right there from Steve Karosik. And those 2 aren't going to be done just yet. They'll have a chance, but Tony Cox, Logan York, you got to wonder if these guys got a penalty too, as saw them in the pits, but no longer with the lead pack. In fact, when you take a look at your leaders there, and you can see it on your scoring tower based off the seconds, top 8 right now are guys that are actually and Tucker McClendon, don't even include him. He's actually further back than this, but so we'll call it Mike Davenport right now is the last man. 7 cars, Dawson, is what we have up here in this lead group. You see a lot more than that on track. That's how many guys that we have that are a lap down right now. Still hoping for a caution. We'll see if they try to push the envelope to maybe help with that, but right now, if you are Cody Nagels, Matthew Baker, Dylan Jones, John Ward, Andrew Navarro, you got to feel like you're in a good position. I think what it's going to come down to, though, is how can you set yourself up with any teammates you have around. And right now, none of those guys I just named have any of their teammates, at least on their bumper.
Yeah, absolutely. And for guys like Maines, Mullahan, and Lee, they got to get back on the lead lap. They now are the top 3 in this group. Now, they're not the top 3 on the racetrack, but you will see that time tick back over from the lap down to tail end of the lead lap for Jason and Matt Lee. But now it's Matthew Baker, Jeff Merck, Kevin Freeze try to come up on the outside. Actually, Freeze as well has to get a lap back. So this is weird. I don't think I've ever seen this many cars caught a lap down that have to try to get their laps back. Another car just lost one. Garrett Maines in the 1 goes a lap down as well.
Yeah, and you can see his teammate there, Kevin Freeze, going to jump up to catch him, make sure that he definitely stays in this pack and potentially have a chance to go up there and try to get that lap back. By the way, you saw Navarro and Karosik finally work their way back up into this lead pack, and so now the questions start to become, how aggressive are these lap cars willing to become as we close in on the end of this race? Again, it's 18, going to be 17 laps to go when we cross the line next time. And don't forget, Dawson, we still have individual payouts for the end of this race, not just the fact that it's the round of 9 and we're going to move on to the round of 4 next week, eliminate 5 guys tonight. So if you're anybody in this lead pack that's on the lead lap, you got a good shot at money tonight, and that's 7 right now, and payouts are top 4, I believe.
Here they are, 125 to first, 100 to second, 100 to third, and 100 to fourth. And those begin to pile up, especially for our championship contenders. As you get closer to the end of the season, you could get that championship pot next week as well, which we'll go over when we get to that race next week. But you can really pile up some money if you're one of the playoff guys up front, but still a decent payout if you're a non-playoff car. A lot to race for here with 17 to go.
Certainly is. Jason Maines still on the inside with a good push, not on the lead. Well, I take that back. He is technically on the lead lap right now as he stands. And so the second closest guy up here that's a lap down would be the free pass position. And it looks like right now as they stand, I believe that would be Matt Lee in that 04 machine as he is on the now he's leading. Matthew Baker further back going to jump down to the inside. John Mullahan pushing Jason Maines as he jumped up, but Garrett and Kevin still committed to the outside. I think they're going to need just a little bit more help to really maintain that lane and stay up there. They might get it right here as Mike Davenport jumps out. Looks like he is willing to dance, try to make something work. And Dawson, I don't know if you have any update on how points are looking right now, but if I had to take a pretty good guess, I'm thinking that Garrett Maines and Michael Triscaro are not looking too good right now to move on to that round of 4.
I'll tell you what, Garrett is running 13th. It could be a lot worse. Michael Triscaro runs 20th. With Garrett where he is right now, he still might stand a chance, and here's why. Because there are playoff guys behind him currently, as well as playoff guys still in this lead pack. If Garrett gets back on the lead lap, which he scored on the lead lap right now, and he'll go back a lap down here in a second when he gets bypassed. If he were to go back on the lead lap, definitely not out of this thing yet at all by any means. Neither is Jason Maines. If these two get back on the lead lap, their points positions get a lot better all of a sudden.
Certainly do, but each lap that goes by, the chance of that caution increases and increases. So I agree. If you're Garrett Maines here, keep fighting for that lead lap. And if you're Kevin Freese, Mike Davenport, stick with it. See if you can maybe get something to work out for yourself. And on the bottom, Jason Maines, he is probably hoping here that Matt Lee does not get in front of him if that caution were to fly so that Garrett could get that lap back and then Jason could maybe get it through the free pass. However it's going to work out, it's going to be an interesting setup for the end of this race. Cody's still on the bottom doing a lot of pushing to Matt Lee. Steve Karosik on the inside. Looks like now Baker, Navarro, Eberhardt, John Ward, and I believe a couple others here. Another one that we have a lap down actually up here, Ken McCullough Jr. sitting back a little bit, just kind of waiting for things to pan out, see if there's a lane that opens up. But if it's 3 wide right now and you're on the lead lap, I kind of like this strategy. I think Baker playing it safe here is not a bad choice. Still hanging right there with Dylan Jones, and the only other man that they've got to worry about right now is Cody Nagels, who finds himself up leading this race. Or excuse me, not leading the race, but leading the points.
Well, he actually is doing both. He's leading the race and leading the points. He's second in line on the bottom. You would not normally think that the leader of the race is leading the race from the second part of the bottom, especially with 5 cars in front of him, but that's the situation we have tonight. The battle for the lead is between Nagels in the 6 and Davenport in the 55, who now pushes Kevin Freese up on the outside. All those cars you see in front of these guys, 2 rows deep now in front of them, are guys on the tail end of the lead lap, or in Mullahan's case, the tail end of 1 lap down, trying to get their laps back. Now, Kevin Freese is trying to do that as well. He would be the next car to get up there, but now their cavalry has dissolved up top. I don't think he's going to be able to get anywhere, and especially if this race reaches what we assume is going to be a final pit stop, it's going to be even tougher for these guys to get it back on the lead lap.
I'm glad you pointed out that Cody's the leader, Dawson, because it completely deked me. I forgot about that, seeing him back here in third. But yeah, currently leading the field as Garrett Maines was able to get clear of the second lane due to the push from Kevin Freese, so he jumped down to the bottom. And up top, it's just him and Mike Davenport right now. Not much else they can do. But Garrett Maines, again, he is fighting with Jason Maines and Matt Lee right now. Those are the 2 biggest competitors to get that lap back the hard way. John Mullahan's looking to get 1 back the hard way, but he's 2 down. So either way, he's not in the best position. But right now, looks like Baker's mom in chat did ask if we could break down points. And we can try to here from what we can. It's been a couple weeks break. But Dawson, do you have any update on him?
I can certainly try. I'd have to go back and find the stage results, though, obviously with all the hectic stuff that happened there. And obviously we haven't heard the review either of the stage end. I know there's going to be a review of that stage end, so I don't even know if we can break it down because I don't think the stage results are going to be final until that can be reviewed. I know Race Control is going to take a look at it, so there's really not much that I can really give you at this point.
Yeah, and we apologize for Baker's mom, but yeah, he's right. The point structure for Tuesday Night Thunder, it's a cool setup, but man, it gets pretty complicated to try to figure out in live time. Heard that from a lot of drivers here pre-race, and I think they're probably all trying to figure out the same map that we are right now, and it's probably not going too well. So all you can do is race as hard as you can. Hope it works out. Oh, Merck down into Nagels. He's going to lose it. Nagels goes around. Merck slides. Does he save it? No. Cody back up into the outside wall. Caution is out. And this is going to change everything. Well, looks like he started to just get out of shape. And Merck comes around and collects Cody, who he's probably not too happy right now, Dawson. He was in what looked like a great position, and he was certainly hoping we wouldn't see a caution. And fortunately, not only do we see one, but he is involved in it. So here we go. Let's take a look first on board here with Jeff Merck. Want that to be the first look we get here at full speed. Does he get some help? I don't think he does, Dawson. I'll let you take a look at that too and let me know what you think, but it looks to me like he's just following the line. And you know, we talked about earlier how these cars, they're easier to get out of shape than the trucks, and you see Mullihan makes a little move, Merck follows, and then Merck puts a little bit too much wheel back down. He's got to compensate for that by going back up, and then again he's going to put a little bit too much wheel going down, and at that point the car, I don't know, I don't know what really happens, but it steps out on him, and once it does, he gets down into Cody Nagels and sends Nagels up the track. They almost initially saved it, but just a little bit too sideways for Nagels, and that's actually a pretty good impact for Cody. I didn't think it was too bad at first, but it may not be a fast pair. It's certainly going to be optional, and that will send him to the back of the line. So what did you see with that one, Dawson?
A couple things. First, on how it started, I'll tell you what I see, and I don't know if this is the case, but this is what I saw. I think Merck gets spooked. Mike Davenport and Kevin Freese come down to pinch, but it is a violent move at the entry of the corner. And as soon as Merck puts more wheel into it right there, you're already on entry, you've climbed the banking. The car is very unstable at that point of the racetrack. And when he puts wheel into it to get off of Mike Davenport, he thinks they're going to hit. Unfortunately, it slams his car to the left. By the time he hits Cody, he's all kinds of out of shape. These cars are not easy to save, although to say that after the saves we've seen tonight. But when you start to get out of shape, they're very hard to get back going. I think he just loses it after that. He got spooked by the top lane and unfortunately goes around and collects Nagels. The second thing I saw, and it was at the tail end of the incident, and I certainly would hope that we get an onboard of this, is Andrew Navarro. I cannot for the life of me fathom how he missed Jeff Merck's car, but he just missed a fatal blow for both of them by probably 6 inches.
Good job for Everhart there, minimizing damage as well. But yeah, we saw that, and we saw that move right there from the TV follow cam of looked like, just Davenport moving down a little bit with Freeze, and certainly could be the case again. Once you get on old tires with these cars, you got to be really careful and really precise with the moves and wheel inputs that you make, because it does not take much for them to start to step out. Let's go take that onboard view here with Andrew Navarro as he makes it through this close call. He sees him starting to get out of shape. Once they start wrecking, he dives low, but then when Merck gets spun back around, he slides, and man, I'll tell you what, I'm almost more impressed at the fact that once he actually misses Merck, that he was able to get back going straight without sliding towards the inside wall. That was a phenomenal save right there from Andrew Navarro to keep him in this, keep it going. Nicely done. Let's take a couple more views of this one here. How about one from the fan cam? They had a pretty good look at this one. It's coming off of turn number 4. That certainly could have been a lot worse considering it happened in the lead pack, but wreck kind of developed in the middle of the pack and didn't really get to that full kind of blunt force blow for Cody Nagels, if you will, until everybody had gotten by. So wasn't nearly as many cars as it looked like it was initially going to be, but it took out one of the big hitters in terms of pushing Cody Nagels probably to the back of the field. And again, he's probably not too happy. Felt like he was in, obviously, and I keep saying felt like, I mean, he was in a really good position before this incident and hoping it would go green the rest of the way. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out. And the other thing we got to sort out here is there's going to be any guys that got damaged wouldn't even have a chance to get that lap back, but I don't think that's going to matter because Jason Garrett were already up there. You got to think it was going to go to one of them, depending on which one was leading and which one was first to lap down. So we'll have to go get that all sorted out. And indeed, as we go back up front, Dylan Jones is being scored as your leader. Matthew Baker back in second. Andrew Navarro in third. Tony Cox fourth. John Ward in fifth. Tucker McClendon in sixth with Logan York in seventh. Jason Maines back in eighth. Garrett Maines in ninth. And Kevin Freeze rounding out your top 10. By the way, Cody Nagels right now a little bit further back than that. He sits in 12th. Still on the lead lap. And the first man lap down now is Daniel Everhart in 19th.
I'm looking through this to see how many of these guys were able to be in front of the leaders, and the list is extensive. Garrett Maines, Jason Maines, Kevin Freeze, Matt Lee, all back on the lead lap. Steve Karosik, I believe now, has also scored back on the lead lap. All of those guys you saw racing for the lead lap spot back got that lap back. So now we go from about 12 cars on the lead lap to 16 on the lead lap. And as we get ready to go, a late race restart with 8 laps to go, when we get back around to the start-finish line, you've now got 16 in contention. You've got 2 of the playoff guys in Jason and Garrett Maines back on the lead lap, and you've got guys shuffled around here in the form of Cody Nagels and a couple of others that have gone further back. They're going to have a lot more work to do. 8 laps to go, and all of a sudden, everything we saw for that entire fuel run completely shuffled on a late race restart.
Well, you knew it was going to do something like this. I mean, it does every season. It always gets crazy at the end. That's what we live for. That's what we come to watch these races for. And No different here tonight. Let's take a look at where we head next on Ghost Racing Network. Thursday night over in PGR Esports, it's the Acres 55. Going to be a $16 entry. Look at these payouts. $200 to first, $132 to second, $124 to third, $116 to fourth and fifth, $32 to sixth, where we have seen a couple phenomenal races the last couple weeks. 55 laps of action, no fast repair. Can't wait for another good one. Make sure you come check it out. And new track, going to be at Daytona International Speedway for the first time, I believe, in PGR history, and going to be back in the Xfinity cars. A lot of fun those were, as we're seeing them here tonight. And again, I think Dawson, part of the, maybe a little bit of the, I guess I'll call it bad pushing, if you will, and some of the trouble we've seen tonight is partially in response to that really hot track temp that we've seen. Was 121 at the start of this race, and nothing's changed because it's not dynamic sky. Well, actually, it's dynamic sky, but weather itself is not. And so we are staying at that exact same track temp. It's going to be slick the rest of the way, and we have got 8 laps to decide a winner. Green flag is back in the air. Jones and Baker back through the gears. Good start right off the get-go from Dylan Jones. He gets lined up with Andrew Navarro pretty quick. Problem for the outside right now is there is no help from Tony Cox. Matthew Baker is going to need it, and he's going to need it pretty soon, or he's going to get jumped in front of right here by Andrew Navarro as they work their way down the backstretch. I think if you're Navarro, you think about taking this, but he is staying committed to Dylan Jones as they enter the back.
Oh, Andrew Navarro not in a terrible spot in points here. He's actually the best spot of anybody right now, especially after the stage win, which we know the stage win going to be official. Matthew Baker, oh, I thought for sure he was going to split out 3 wide right there. All it does is stack up the middle. Jason Maines, Kevin Freese say, hello, I'm coming to the party. Same with Cody Nagels, man on mission. Garrett Maines jumps up in front of him, though. Nagels slammed the door again. Jason Maines leads the outside line, the 9th man in the playoffs. All of a sudden leads the 3rd lane back to the tri-oval. Can Jason Maines do the unthinkable and make the championship 4?
Boy, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of guys who would be pretty, that'd be a pretty cool thing to see. Going from, well, I'll tell you what, from what I was hearing Dawson pre-races, by Jason making it, he actually moved up in points, so it's kind of an interesting dilemma. We won't get too far into that right now, but yeah, I mean, you think about it, the last guy to make the round of 9, to make the round of 4, I agree, would be a pretty impressive feat in itself, but man, I don't know if we can make the rest of this race green right now. I'm seeing a lot of fishtail and a lot of aggressive moves. Dylan Jones still leads the middle with Matthew Baker. He's going to give him a break, a chance to cool as he drops to the bottom. And so Tony Cox has to pull up to the back bumper. Now that 72 looks a little bit uncomfortable right now, like he doesn't want to maybe risk getting one of these guys in trouble, but you got to get up there a push, and if he doesn't, Jason Maines might get clear of Matthew Baker.
Oh, he's still fishtailing. Logan York has to bail off the racetrack. Same with John Ward. Dylan Jones got to come up and rescue the middle line in form of Baker and keep Jason Maines up top. You know, teammate or not, ally or not, he wants to keep him up there because he's got his own ambitions tonight. He's got to win his way to the Final Four as well. So, with these guys up front, you're going to be making every move you need to now. With Matthew Baker second in the middle line, will begin to get some more momentum back. Jason Maines seeing the hope of getting clear. Start to be dashed just a little bit, but watch out. Here comes the bottom. A massive surge for Andrew Navarro and John Ward. 3x3, make it, 6 rows deep into 3.
I feel like one of the things we should have mentioned that I maybe kind of lost sight of a little bit was it's a win and you're in. So we keep talking about points. If you want to just not even have to worry or think about all that, you go all out and you go for the win here tonight. You do that, you're in the championship 4. Let the other 3 be determined by all the math and point system behind it. And so here you go. Jason Maines, after getting back on the lead lap, is wasting no time. He is out here on a mission to prove a point. That is exactly what he's doing. He now leads the middle line in front of Dylan Jones and Matthew Baker. Andrew Navarro on the bottom with Ward. Now Maines is going to jump to the bottom. That'll allow Kevin Freese to get clear as he jumps to the middle, and just like that, you got all 3 of the Maines boys up in front. Garrett on the outside, Kevin Freese working with Jason tonight in the middle. Jason Maines on the inside. 3x3, going to be coming to 4 laps to go at the line next time.
Garrett Maines from a lap down due to a speeding penalty to the race lead here in 3, alongside Kevin Freese in the 25 also was a lap down. He now is up front as well, along with Jason Maines. They are getting seriously dicey here at the front of the field, and with 5 laps to go, it's a long way to get to the white flag. Freeze, that was a quick move down across Jason Maines. How in the world did he make that work? Garrett, no help up top. Cavalry coming, but Garrett's going to lose a lot of ground. Cody Nagels ducked in line. Said, I don't know about this. It's not going anywhere. Oh, my goodness. These guys are all over the place. Who in the world is going to make the right move?
Third lane fell apart, and oh man, Jason's drifting up. Gotta be careful there. I thought there was going to be some right rear neck code between him and Matt Lee. There's not. They continue on green. It'll be 3 laps this next time. And remember, if we make it to the white flag, this race will be official. As we talk about that third lane dying, looks like it's starting to get some life formed back up as Logan York hops out to get a pull from Garrett Maines and Davenport. Ooh, Mullahan around. Hold on to it now. Tucker McClendon gets out of shape. Both cars trying to save it. Tucker's got to be careful not overcorrect. What a save from John Mullahan and Tucker McClendon. We are going to stay green. It'll drop 2 cars off of the pack. But up front, what that has allowed is this third lane to really come to life now. Matthew Baker up top, Kevin Freeze in the middle, Jason Maines on the bottom with 3 laps to go.
Baker, the first man to win in the playoffs at the beginning of the season, kicked his feet up on the desk and ran the rest of the season, was still just as dominant. Now looks to get in the championship 4. Freeze looking to play spoiler on all these guys, saying, you know what, I don't care about your playoffs. I'm going to go win the race anyway. Keep anybody from locking in on a win. He's in the middle in front of Dylan Jones. The bottom line now has disintegrated. Jason Maines, Andrew Navarro have gone backwards. Cody Nagel says, I'll take that, thank you very much. He goes to the bottom. Nobody goes with him, though, so now Nagels will suffer. Middle and top lanes are the place to be right now. Baker, York, Maines, Davenport, top, Freeze, Jones, Lee, and Ward in the middle. This is a lot of playoff cars right inside the top 8. 2 laps to go this time by.
Final lap for a caution if we're going to get it. If they can keep it clean, this race could be official in just about 2.65 miles. Just as I say that, a hiccup there as Matt Lee dropped to the bottom. Jones had to bail out of the throttle. He sticks with Kevin Freeze. Up top, Matthew Baker, Logan York, I think they're going to have to stay and be committed up there the rest of the race. That bottom, though, starting to come back to life. I think they're going to probably have the freshest temps right here, Dawson, as Cody Nagel's third in line, Ward second, Lee leading it. Kevin Freeze, though, what a story be if he could get the win tonight after being a lap down, assisting his teammates to get back on the lead lap, getting it himself. But here we go. Back to the middle goes Matt Lee. Oh, one blew up. Jones blew up towards the back of that middle lane. He'll get off. We stay green, but that could end his playoff chances.
Middle line disintegrates now. Coming back to the white flag. It will be the white flag right here. 1 lap to go at Talladega and Tuesday Night Thunder. John Ward, the PGR champ, now leads at the line. Can he make the final 4? Off into 1 and headed towards the super stretch one more time. Lee, middle, Baker, top, Ward on the bottom. Everybody pushing for all their worth.
Matt Lee with another big push. Does Freeze think about jumping higher? Does he stay where he's at for now? Baker and York tandemed up on the backstretch. Another unlikely duo making a lot of ground here late. Garrett Maines trapped further back. Nowhere to go. The bottom, no momentum, but Jason's going to get clear. Watch for that one to drop down. He's going to do so. Oh, a little bumping out back. Garrett and Logan are getting tight. Garrett's trying to keep it off of York. Now he gets bumped from Nagels. He gets into York. They go around out back up front. It's a 4-car race. Does anyone pull out a line? Here we go into the tribal. Jason Maines with a look to the inside. Kevin Freeze, no move yet. Now he jumps to the outside. Jason can't get there. Matt Lee will win the round of 9 at Talladega. Nicely done by Matt Lee, and the highest finishing playoff driver is going to be Jason Maines, followed by Matthew Baker and John Ward. Well, Dawson, tell you what, maybe not the finish we were expecting, a good one, but you got to wonder, how was that little incident that we had there coming through 3 and 4 going to stir the pot?
We got to go back and look at it first. So much happened. I had to watch 3 places at once, and for Matt Lee, what a win for him and for NBG Motorsports as he gets back to victory lane. But the playoff situation, I think, is what we're all going to be looking at, and it could be a very wild Final 4. I'll do my best to work on points, but you're right. Pot may be stirred further back.
Yeah, you can see here, I mean, Garrett Maines, I got to be honest, in my opinion, again, I'm not sure if these guys consider different standards, so I'll leave that up to them, but this just looks to me like they are all way too tight getting into turn 3. I know you got to keep it down on a guy's door, but there's just not much room here already. But what's going to start is York maybe slightly coming down, Garrett maybe slightly coming up. It's hard to tell. And once those two make some contact, that starts kind of this ping-pong effect with Garrett. Gets down into Ward, back up into York, back down into Ward, back up into York. And so as he's trying to hold on to it and collect it, Nagels arrives on the scene to try to give a push to the 1 car. Unfortunately, though, he gets him extremely offset. That immediately is going to send the 1 car around. Garrett gets up into York, who goes to the wall. Garrett saves it as Cody Nagels drops low. But then they're not done wrecking just yet here, as you're going to see York get into the outside wall. And actually, I take it back. I guess they all did save it, but unfortunately at this point in the race, they were all out of it. So they come back up on track. Nagels with no help Garrett and Mark Vondell together, Navarro and Davenport, as they all get lined up, but just not really much else to do. And finish your winner, Matt Lee, here tonight at Talladega. So as we go to take a look at the finishing results here for the night, again, Matt Lee is your winner. Kevin Freese brings home a second-place finish. Jason Maines in third. Matthew Baker in fourth with John Ward fifth. Mike Davenport in sixth. Andrew Navarro back in seventh with Garrett Maines in eighth. Mark Vondell ninth, and Cody Nagels rounding out your top 10.
Logan York finishes 11th. Jeff Merck 12th. Tony Cox 13th. Tucker McClendon in 14th. Steve Karosik finishes in 15th. Ken McCullough Jr. finishes in 16th. Dylan Jones, what a story for him all night. Great saves, but it ends in smoke for him. He finishes 17th. John Mullahan 18th. D3 finishes in 19th. Michael Triscaro finishes in 20th. And Gabe Butler unable to make the grid.
All right, well, we are going to go find your top 3 in here for interviews, or see if we can get them in here for interviews, rather. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Going to start first with your third-place finisher here tonight. Dawson Wise stands by with Jason Maines.
Yeah, I do. Hey, Jason, it's the boys in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, what a roller coaster night for you. A roller coaster week. You go from, maybe thinking the season's over, and obviously we have that entire turnover. You end up in the round of 9, and, it's as much as you could do. A third-place effort. For just first off, take us through your night, the roller coaster that it was, and how you made it back to third.
I haven't had a chance to look at the replay. I know I was leading the top lane or second on the top lane or something, and then I was sideways. And then I was sideways again, and I saved it, but I lost all the track position. And then I got back to the lead, and I got turned. I don't know if it was just, the way it is in an Xfinity car, but Mullahan was behind me, and it got turned me down. So I lost all the track position again. Then I sped on pit road, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, this is just shoot yourself in the foot, one thing after another. And then you got to be lucky. And I was lucky tonight and be in the right place at the right time.
Well, absolutely you were, and not really an opportunity to look at points yet. Obviously, a third-place finish is about as good as you could do tonight after everything that happened right there. So, how'd you feel about your night? Do you feel like that was enough to get you in the championship race? Just kind of take me through how you're feeling about that right now.
If it is, it is. If it's not, it's not. I mean, I had fun. It was a good, to have a shot at the end. I really wasn't thinking about that but so much because it just changes so fast. So, anyway, I'm grateful that I got in the top 3, and Kevin got second. I was happy for Matt to win there, so a lot of fun.
Absolutely. It was fun to watch for us up here as well. And you come home third. It's a great effort for you. So while we have you here for a second, anybody like to thank or shout out?
Always thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Thank Lennox Industries. Thank Kevin there and Garrett. We're working together in there, and it's a lot of fun. MCU Body, you guys for putting on a broadcast, and Ryan for throwing up the races. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us for a second. Congratulations on a fantastic third-place effort tonight, and we will see you next week for the championship race.
Thanks, Dawson. Appreciate it.
All right, and now that's going to move us to your second-place finisher here on the night, Kevin Freese. Hey, Kevin, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Heck yeah, I do. How you
Well,
doing?
I'm good, man. Well, I saw you bragging about it there in chat, and you have all rights, too. 2 laps down to P2. You almost had a shot at the win there, maybe if things didn't get a little chaotic out back. But overall, I mean, as a driver, you get 2 laps down. A lot of guys go into the mindset of, well, this thing's over. I'm just here riding around. But how do you stay focused, and ultimately, how'd you bring yourself back to a second-place finish tonight?
The one part of your broadcast that I absolutely have to go back and rewatch when Matt, myself, Garrett, all of us were a lap down, and we decided we're going to go to the third lane and cut the field up and hopefully hold it. And then that caution came out, and thank God when it did, because it put us all back on the lead lap. And then three of the people who were fighting there, tail end of the lead lap, end up 1, 2, 3. Pretty good in my book.
Yeah, it certainly was. And I mean, you got to help your teammates out in a couple different ways here tonight. But overall, you weren't able to make the championship, or actually the playoffs, of course, really, because we saw you not quite make as many races. But nonetheless, the races that you did make, you made the most of them. Do we expect to see you out here next week? And if so, what do we expect to see?
I'm hoping I can make it. Right now, I have work on Tuesday, but maybe we can. My employer will be a little nice to me and let me be creative with my schedule, and I'll be here. That's what I'm hoping for, to help the boys out so they get that championship.
We'll see if we see you then. But before we let you head out tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, thanks to Garrett and Jason. We most certainly had a very interesting race, I think, all three of us. Great job there to Matt. I mean, we, I think, ran a great strategy there, and I just couldn't develop a run at all through the tri-oval. I tried backing up to Jason, but it wasn't enough. Like, we couldn't develop it fast enough, so great job by him. Thank you to you guys for putting on the broadcast, and of course, thanks to Ron for putting up with all the shenanigans that go on in this series. I'm sure it's a nice headache for him, and he can't wait for the off season.
Well, thank you for talking to us tonight. Congrats again on the second place finish, and hopefully we'll see you out here next week.
Absolutely. You guys enjoy the night.
You as well, and that will bring us to your winner here tonight for NBG Motorsports. It's Matt Lee. Hey, Matt, this is Austin in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right, well, you get the win tonight. Not really any teammates in sight except for Matthew Baker there towards the end. But first thing I want to talk about is just the craziness we saw tonight. At a characteristic race, to say the least. You find yourself a lap down. You find yourself in the victory lane at the end. Break it down for us.
Yeah, that was a pretty wild race. I had the fuel strategy right. And just, like, the wreck at the end, the stage, like, really messed it up for us. And a bunch of people got black flags. I managed to make it back around, but I mean, had so much damage and stuff. I got behind there and totally blew that green flag pit stop. I mean, I was like 10 car lengths out in front of Baker. It weren't good, but Baker ran a good race, I think, to advance to the next round and did what we had to do.
When you come into a race like this, again, you're just racing for the payouts, not for the championship for next week. So how does that kind of change the mindset, and how did that kind of help you there towards the end of the race and getting the win?
I was being just really patient early on. I mean, I was trying to help Baker as much as I could because I knew he was in a points battle there. So I was really just trying to play support guy all night until, you know, a big hole opened up on the bottom, and I kind of just ended up there with dumb luck and Baker outside of me. It kind of played out, you know. I definitely weren't going to drift up the track into him, put him in a safe spot. So, you know, it kind of just played out that way. There was no strategy to it as far as making it happen. It just happened.
Yeah, it certainly did. Well, before we let you head out and enjoy your winnings tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Big shout out to Baker and Merck for running a good race there. All the guys over at Martin Sports, anyone look for sim racing gloves, jerseys, anything like that, check them out, martinsports96.com. Premier Setup Shop, you guys for putting on the broadcast, Ron for putting on the series here, and everyone for tuning in.
All right, well, thank you for talking to us. Congrats again on the win, and we will hopefully see you out here next week.
All right, thanks, Austin.
Thank you. All right, that is just about going to wrap up our coverage. I know Dawson was working on points, so we'll give him a chance in just a moment. But again, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I hope everybody did enjoy. So just before we do wrap up the coverage tonight, Dawson, you got anything you want to add?
Can you maybe talk for about 30 more seconds, and I'll have official numbers for you, at least based on my math?
Yeah, I certainly will. So, the next place that we're going to be back here, obviously, same time, and I believe it's same place. I got to check, but I would assume that the championship would be at Talladega. Might be a couple more laps, a couple things will be different, but what you're going to see is a couple outside players coming for that race, including teammates of a lot of these bigger teams. I think maybe you'll see the Mains boys, assuming, again, it depends on who makes it, bring in a couple guys. If any of the NBG guys make it, they'll bring in a couple extra guys, Dale Cup, etc. So it's going to be a good one next week. Make sure you don't miss out on that final race for Season 3 for TNT. And don't forget, next place that we're going to head here on Ghost Racing Network on Thursday. Forgot to mention that we also have the NOMA Gen 6 Series as part of that doubleheader that we have on Thursdays as of right now. So make sure you check in on that one. That race will go green at 8:50. And then, of course, PGR soon after that. Again, Ghost 74 this weekend. Stick around for more info on that. We will be live streaming that. I'm not sure if I'll be doing it. Dawson will be doing it, but we'll have something on that. So just make sure you stick around for it. But see if Dawson's got anything on him just yet.
All right, I'm using stage results that, again, they talked about in the comms. I know Race Control had said they might want to review it, so this is based on unofficial stage results. The math I've got, here are your four for the championship for Andrew Navarro. By virtue of his finish and his stage win, he is in. Matthew Baker, his finish and stage finish as well puts him in. That's where it gets a little bit interesting. Third, Jason Maines has just enough points to get in. A third place finish, good enough on my math tonight. And the fourth driver in. How about a heroic run? The PGR champs got a chance to go back to back. By my math, John Ward is the final driver in by 1.5 points.
All right, so there you go. Again, we'll have official word later in the week. And if you missed out on all that, worst case scenario, when you tune in next Tuesday, you'll certainly know because we'll have all the graphics set up for it. Thank you again for coming out here tonight, everybody that watched. Hope you enjoyed. That's all for me, Austin Green and Dawson Wise here on Ghost Race.